enjoy the show, play on Perjangers.
What's up, man?
Oh yeah. How's it going, man?
We are doing good. We were actually just, while we're waiting for you, reminiscing about Blue Hen, because that's where I got to meet you in person. I've been telling
Oh, yeah.
Frank about your work for about 2 years now, because I've been doing my work with the Heroic Awards, but it was really great to finally see one of the artists and writing creatives, I should say, because you were the founder, as I'm doing some research into you, founder of Konkret Comics.
That's me. Yep, CEO and founder. And I'm the writer of the legendary Acolyte and Zoriel. Acolyte and Zoriel were actually nominated for Heroic Awards last year. I didn't submit this year, but I let Jari with Deja Vu and I think Luna and Odina submit it.
Yeah.
So yep.
Yeah, Luna and Odina. It's where I was. I pulled up Acolyte in front of Frank, and he was like, "Oh, I have that. We know your work.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen that." And Acolyte, that was from the first year of the Heroic Awards, I believe.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Because I think I was at C2E2 when they did the award ceremony there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the C2E2 was the first year. That was, just being on the ground level of just making the videos for them was interesting enough. Like, oh, this is your first year, and it's for indie comics. Absolutely. You know, Frank and I have been doing the Tales of the Hunted now for, well over a year.
Yeah.
A lot of tales in the crypt here, but just going out there and with Konkret Comics, you have a wellspring of comics for people to enjoy here with all of your titles.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We wanted to. We were very inspired by what Todd McFarlane and Image Comics did in the early '90s. You know, I was a child when they did that. I didn't understand it till I got older, but there was a lack of representation in comics, and I've always saw myself in comics, but I had to imagine it. I'm a big Superman fan and Silver Surfer fan. Gambit's like my favorite character of all time. But I never saw anyone that kind of looked like me that was of that level of importance, And usually when I did, they were kind of stereotypical. They were either in a bad neighborhood. None of them really had any significance on helping the world. It was really just internal type of things.
Mm-hmm.
So, Acolyte, I wanted to create something that was larger than life. I wanted to create a character that the kids could argue with at their cafeteria tables when they're bringing up who could beat Superman. I wanted a guy that.
I remember that.
And I'm a big Star Wars fan. I love the Cosmos. I love Silver Surfer, and that was kind of the birth of Acolyte. Just how to put myself in comic books and then take everything I love and just mesh it all into one ball and just put it out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the trick, isn't it? Is to be able to insert yourself into this comic world, and what makes your version different. That's kind of what we find in indie, because even pulling from inspirations like Gambit, which we may see an accurate representation coming up, hopefully in some kind of digital form, but you're seeing a lot more comic accuracy being the cool thing for those movies to pull from, and a lot of streaming services saying, "Oh, you have an IP. Well, let's talk. Can we make something like Invincible?" Nobody thought Robert Kirkman would be so goddamn successful. Mm-hmm. Everybody just looks at him while he's stacking his cash in his closet.
Yeah, he's wildly successful, and that's all it takes is just the belief in you and just being in the right place, right time, and talking to the right people. I think a lot of up and coming writers and creators, they focus too much on being as big as such and such, or creating the next big this or that, rather than just telling a story that they genuinely love. They're telling the story that they think people want.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the way I started to look at it when I really started getting into writing was I looked at other examples and I boiled it down of like, all right, well, what is this book really? Well, this is, Crime and Punishment. A guy did something wrong and he couldn't live with it.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You boil it down. Now, what is your idea? All right, let's boil it down, and now let's expand out at that core, because now you know where you're going to go. You know how to build it up in your way. It's just, with anything writing, it's really trusting yourself. Because when you put yourself into it, people can tell, and that's what they love.
And knowing where to start as well. I was just talking to one of my friends about this, and I think with young writers, lore is the biggest hurdle because some people focus so much on the lore that they make it confusing for the reader to understand what's important and what's not.
Yeah.
Because you want them to know how this started and how the blood of this celestial got into this person, and this is the daughter of this guy. But realistically, your story is just about a guy who's trying to survive in a city while people are trying to kill him. That's really all it's about. Right. So, you don't have to, young readers, you don't have to don't be consumed with your lore. Just start somewhere and let the lore come out through your story, Well,
I mean, letting the lore and all the history come out slowly is how some of the better characters have done. One of the fans' favorites, Wolverine. You didn't know his history for a long time.
Exactly. And see, Wolverine, I draw a lot of inspirations especially when I'm telling my more, I guess, espionage type characters. I draw a lot of Wolverine, Total Recall, and like Born Identity.
Okay.
Those are some of my favorite type of films because they keep you glued to the TV as well as you questioning what the hell is going on. So it's like you're like trapped in this loop of like, I love what's going on and I need to know why this is going on. And you keep watching to figure it out. And it's like the perfect blueprint.
And fight scenes in comics are some of the best because you think of some of the best fight scenes, the actual images that entails is usually, flash images of they were here, this is where here. But how they do it on the page is on a whole new kind of creative level nowadays.
Or with the introduction of digital art, they're able to make quicker edits and add more effects that make it look like it's actual movement going on. It's just a glorious time to be alive and to be a creator.
I mean, digital definitely does have that extra panache that you can add on to it. Now, the big thing is digital or pen and paper being your favorite. What is your first go-to? To put it on actual paper or to grab the stylus and digitally create?
So I'm not an artist, but my artists, I work with a guy named Bruno Lima. He does all the art for Acolyte, and he's trained in both, but he's transitioned fully into digital.
Okay.
So he's able to kind of whip out the pages pretty fast, and when there's an edit, it's not like it's not a drastic thing. He can just erase and just he can keep that file and just copy it and then edit that one. Right. So it never has to recreate anything. He just makes small changes. I think that's like the blessing of it. The thing that is kind of trash about it is I'm jealous sometimes that I don't have like the original artwork, like the actual artwork to show people at Comic-Con tables. They can see actual pencil and ink. That's always been cool to me. So maybe one day I'll get them to draw some stuff on paper,
Yeah, at least it would be good for a nice little thing for your table to actually, get some sketches of the character in their raw form. Because,
even just pages of the book. I mean, that kind of artwork right there that's, paper. I mean, to reproduce it, there's only one.
Yeah.
only one piece. That's
Like
another. Neil Adams says, I sell the books and then I sell the pages because I can make money 2 times.
Yeah.
The actual book is sold, and I can sell the actual pages. And depending on who it is, or how popular it is, that page can skyrocket. Just like a collector. There's only one of that page number 7 or whatever it is. There's only one.
He does send me the sketches, but I think he does the sketching digitally as well.
Yeah.
Because I kind of look at all the sketches before he goes to the line art. So sometimes when I'm promoting the character, I will show sketch, line art, color, so people can. And that's an amazing process of how that,
Well, even some of my favorite comics, that is a part of the back. You have sketches, you have the script for the comic, you have all the raw stuff, the pencils, the inks, and then you see all the variant covers. That's one of the best things, one of the reasons why I grab compendiums in general, just because, all right, I have the whole little story you want to tell and some extra stuff.
Yeah. I put a lot of that stuff in my source book because I did an Acolyte part 1 source book that just covered everything from Acolyte 1 through 3. And now that 1 through 6 is out, I'm going to do the full blown 1 through 6. And like you said, I want to put an origin of the artist in there, let him tell his story, and the colorist, everybody that was a part of it, part of the process. What did Acolyte mean to them in the creation process? And a lot of fans to, see what was in our minds.
Yeah.
When we crafted this dude,
Because that's a little time capsule in and of itself, is just even words you write on the page for the fans right there. It's fun to have that as a little piece of your history, and then to look back and be like, oh man, myself on the back. God, that was well written. Who wrote that? I wrote that? Oh my God, that was great.
Time capsules are dope. And I think that's something that's been lost in transition over the last 5 years of comics, because everybody's moving so fast with the digital aspect of it. Things are just pumping out.
Yeah.
So it's a curse. You're getting books faster, but you're losing the essence of the production process.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it makes it easier to get products out. It's easier as an artist to fill your tables, have your artwork out there as a display, and have it all done digitally, have the file saved, make a variant of it, have, different this or that for your fans, and make it more customizable to what kind you're going to say. So it's easier for the artist. It's that double-edged sword you have to kind of dance around.
Yeah. And just being able to rotate and keeping your options open, because when you're putting out a comic book, you got to think about the different types of people that will want it. You got the collectors who may not even read the book; they just understand the importance or the value of this book, want it. Yep. And then you got the people that are going to read it that may just get digital because they just want to read the book. So they may get the digital version, and if they love it, they'll buy the physical just to have in their collection. And then you got just the people that just do everything. They want to collect it, they want to read it, and they want,
Those are the ones you love.
Those are the ones you want, yeah.
Those are the ones you love. Like, all right, well, I got to buy 3. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to stop you. There's no limit. Yeah. Go ahead.
I often do something on a Kickstarter that we do called Keep It in Plastic. So, there's like the standard cover and the variant cover. So, you can buy both. Just keep one in the plastic and read the one that
I like that.
Great idea.
There's different ideas, especially we hear from the indie community on this podcast, and I feel like there has to be something about your Kickstarter that really just kind of latches in with people, and Keep It in the Plastic is very ingenuitive. It's because I have a friend, that's what he does. One in plastic, one to read. And that's how he buys anything. And, he has all of his collection, but there was one to read and one to just don't touch.
Right.
Yeah. And that's one thing I like to, when I do talk to younger creators, and they're curious about Kickstarter or just Comic-Con, how to stand out. And it's really just that, man. You're doing it to create an experience for your customer. It's not about you at all.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not. It's all about the customer, man. What are you gonna give to them that makes them feel like you thought about them?
Right.
Yeah. Is there any other kind of things that you put out for the Kickstarter campaign? Like variant covers are kind of a standard one, but do you do variants or even like
We do like
plushies or something, stickers?
we do foil covers is usually the only place you can get our Kickstarter for our covers. Foil covers. We usually do like covers that are Kickstarter exclusive as well.
Oh.
So sometimes people will come to us at Comic Cons and they'll say, "Hey, can you sign this?" And I look at the cover and I say, "Oh snap! He supported the Kickstarter because that's the only place you could have got that."
Right.
Yeah.
So those are some cool things that we do.
That's a nice one
It's
though.
a nice special one.
That's a
off the
special one
side.
that you're not really expecting. At
Yeah.
the con, you get somebody, hey, just sign. Oh,
Yeah.
you already bought it. All right, man. And then having that little key sign of, oh, I know where you got it.
Yeah, because there's some covers that I haven't seen in person. So when I see them, and I'm like, "Dang, how you get that one, man? How you get that one? I didn't see it." Like there's one guy I know. His name is Matthew. He's a big Concrete supporter, and he pulled up on us. We're at Philadelphia Comic Con, and he had like his own case for just Concrete books. So he started. So because I was there, I think the writer of Deja Vu was with me, and the writer of Absolver was there. So he pulled out each one that he had, and he had variant covers of each one.
Wow.
They didn't covers, and it was a humbling feeling because he really valued our products.
Wow.
Nice.
I mean, to have a fan like that. I think, who was it? We were talking to John Westhoff last episode, and he was saying he had one fan that went out and had all of his collection graded of his comic, and he was the only one. And I mean, just the grading, the having a special box for your collection, that's minor little things that like, all right, it worked.
Right.
The idea took off. We're there.
Yeah, because that's the thing that I look at, right? Because some people will support your comic book because they like you. Other people will support your comic book because they love the story. And in the best case, you get both, right? They love you, they love your story, and they talk about it. So how I judge a good book that I may run into on the wild is if I see people having a conversation about the events that took place in the comic.
Oh yeah.
And that, okay, so they didn't just buy it because it was hype. They bought it and read it, and now they're proclaiming their love for it to other people.
Sure.
And those are the best fans right there. The ones that are proclaimed like, "Hey, I read this. I love this issue because this, and that. And now I'm excited to see what happens with this because what happened in issue 1 led to it." And that's when you're like, okay, they love the story.
Yeah.
And it makes you excited as a writer,
Now, as a writer, do you like to put in any kind of Easter eggs as you're going through?
All the time. So I'm a big Aliens guy, man. Aliens has some of the best. Aliens, Terminator, the Predator, some of the best Easter eggs in the world. And a lot of people don't know it because when we look at Aliens, right, on the surface level, it's just a horror movie. It's just an alien killing, hunting people on an alien ship. And for the masses, for the general public, that's all they need to know. But if you really go into the lore of it and you see the Easter eggs that were planted telling you the story before it even began, it just lights a fire in me as a writer.
Yeah.
So watching movies, I'm studying how are they tricking my mind to know what's going to happen without me knowing what's going to happen. And I definitely implement that. I kind of show the ending slightly in my issue 1. If you're paying attention, you see signs of the villains, the heroes that are coming. You see little symbols that you may not notice until you see the character. Okay. And I had that happen. I got a supporter on Facebook. His name is Benny 10. He's like, he knows more about my story than me.
That's a fan.
It was a symbol I had on a chair that the villain was sitting on. And I was just sharing characters that I have coming out. And he said, hey, that one right there, that symbol, I saw that symbol. That was an one. Is there something like what's happening? And then it just blew his mind. Like he started asking me everything. Like he started putting pieces together, and so that's how I knew the Easter eggs were good. They weren't like overtly taking over the story, but they were right place to spark interest.
That's a perfect kind of chemistry that you got to work out there, because some, like you're saying, some Easter eggs are just too overt. Like, all right, I get it. You wanted to, but having a nice blend in there, and then somebody piecing the pieces together.
Right.
Like they have string and a bunch of newspaper clippings on their wall somewhere. That's how you know you made it to that level. It's people are postulating theories on your story.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out which way the boss is the bad guy is gonna go, who he's gonna utilize, and a lot of that, we got to give thanks to the MCU. Did a great job with Easter egging. They did an extremely well job at Easter egging.
It happens. They do theirs so fast and so small. I have yet to, minor little things you see.
I got to go to the internet to see, like, all right, what Easter eggs are in this?
Yeah, I never see them.
There's some small, like in some of the best were in WandaVision. WandaVision has some really good. And Loki's TV show has some good ones, but just when you think about the movies, just Age of Ultron had some of the best ones with just the mentioning of vibranium. It's for people that know, it sparked everybody's mind, like vibranium.
Right.
Oh yeah. Well,
and
they just did that in the new Captain America with adamantium. You got Harrison Ford out there as General Thunderbolt Ross, and talking about adamantium, and you're like, oh God, somebody give him his family back.
So, and now with the mention of adamantium, we're thinking like, well, how, when, who's going to utilize this? Then we're thinking about, is Wolverine already exist? Is he already, what's going on? Is a striker somewhere involved in this? Like what's happening?
It has to be. Yeah.
And it just, now we're so interested in figuring it out that people like us, we're going to watch it to find the clues.
Because Marvel in the past have dropped an Easter egg of just adding a character in the background before they've come out with something.
Yeah, something's always in the background.
And they're just like crossing the street with a scone. They're in there. You didn't see it? They're right there. That was your clue.
Oh my God, Taskmaster. Oh
Even
who is that? Okay.
Even though
I didn't know he ate scones.
In the Netflix series, how you would see the same detective on Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, and so just that piecing of the world, that world building to me was genius.
Rehiring the same actors from that series was probably the smartest move they could do, because the internet loves them and they want to do it anyway. Like it's a win-win right there.
Having Punisher's world intersect with Iron Fist world and everything, so they built a New York that was so relatable. We felt like we were watching reality. So when you're studying stuff like that, just looking at the Easter eggs and how they put it together, I try my hardest when I'm writing to, like, I'll write my script first, and then when I go back and read over it when I'm making my edits, that's where I implement my Easter eggs at.
I mean, the first season of Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil are some of the best ever.
TV stuff.
Ever TV. Yeah. Some of the best ever. The hallway scene.
On a low budget, too.
Low budget hallway scene. I'll take that any day.
Even how they would mention the event. They would mention what happened in Avengers with New York, but they wouldn't call it. They would call it something else. But we know they were talking about, when the aliens came.
Oh, yeah,
So just little Easter eggs like that to hint to us that it's all connected in the same world,
right. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just kind of stretched that out for their whole existence, and then their Marvel's just like, them? We have nothing to do with them.
Exactly. And see, that's a little bit where I feel like DC drops the ball at, is they want to be connected, but then they be like, yeah, we're connected, but that's not connected. And we're connected, but that's not connected.
I know you like that, but no, not that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they
It's
pull us
odd.
in too many ways,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's hard for us to lock in because right now we're dealing with what a two Batman, two Joker crisis right now, where
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's too much.
Yeah.
So I think hopefully James Gunn. I don't know. I think DC just gotta learn what they want their identity to be because people complain about Marvel, but they've created a blueprint that is undeniable. And
That's true.
50 from now, 30 years from now, when we look back on what we were able to witness, we can only compare it to what our parents witnessed with Star Wars.
Yeah.
I
mean, Marvel, I will say, has held it together better than DC. Because even the stuff that came out, like Ironheart, I love that.
Ironheart was great.
I thought
Ironheart was great.
I thought Ironheart was fantastic. Agatha,
Yeah, I believe a lot of Agatha was great.
fantastic. That had one of the lowest budgets of I think any other Disney show, and they're like, yeah, but it was fantastic, and fans loved it. They don't care how much money you spend.
Even with the what if series tying into Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness, fire.
Absolutely. Multiverse of Madness, you got the new Spider-Man coming out with Punisher and Hulk being confirmed to be in it. Fantastic. Brand new day.
Spider-Man Far From Home is one of the people don't talk about it enough, but seeing Tobey Maguire and the other one come on screen, one of the greatest superhero movies to ever be done. To be honest with you.
I had to go back and rewatch The Amazing Spider-Man, those two movies, because I had to appreciate Andrew Garfield. I was like, let me see what you did.
I actually liked it.
And they weren't bad.
Yeah.
The way all the Spider-Mans are always great movies because as a writer, to me, as a writer, Spider-Man is probably the greatest character ever created because of the concept is so relatable, but also so fantastical. It's just a perfect blend of like, this is a good read for anybody to read. You can be young, old, whatever age, you can understand Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And it's not as corny as some people would say a Superman is, but then it's not as gritty as Batman. It's like right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
It's gritty enough to where you're like, dang, these people are gonna kill people, but then they don't. Yeah. Spider-Man saves the day, but then he's dealing with paying bills. He got girlfriend issues. He's got a job issue. He's trying to save his grandma. His best friend's tripping on him. So there's just so many factors in there that make it such a great story. I think it's the best character ever created.
Because that was not a bad animated series that came out. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. That was fantastic.
The first one?
Yeah,
good too.
The first series, the first season of that, I think, came out this past year.
Oh,
fantastic!
Okay.
I mean,
it was
all
good.
the
It was
choices
good to have
that
a
they
teenager
made.
feel to it.
It did. A new teenager feel to it. Yeah, because it's right now Spider-Man's what? 50?
But it still felt like a comic book.
It did. It did. In a little newer type of version, yeah.
They tried to make it new, but they also tried to make it. He looked just like old school comic book Peter Parker.
Yeah,
But
they
Peter
did a
Parker
good
had a
job
cell phone.
with the villains too.
Whoever did the artwork did a nice stylized.
They did a really good job.
Yes, very nice.
And see, that's the other thing I think makes Spider-Man, to me, I don't. People usually say Batman and Spider-Man are like the same, right? But to me, Spider-Man makes more sense to be able to level up to fighting with the Avengers to fighting with Daredevil. He can go either way, and it makes sense. Right. Batman has no sense at being in space fighting Darkseid. It just makes absolutely no sense at all.
Yeah, it's just because of Batman part. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Spider-Man fighting Thanos, although Thanos is way out of his league, he can do a little something there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nothing Batman can do if Thanos just looked at him and said, "Yo, I'm going to punch your head off." There's absolutely nothing he can do.
Yeah, it's
gone.
I mean? Yeah. I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I view things. I know we can't rely on too much reality when we're writing comics, but you got to have a little bit of it in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to make it believable in some level, and then the rest you can actually fabricate, stretch a bit. But it has to make it there has to be something believable. I think it was even Stan Lee said that, something has to be believable to ground people, and then the rest you can stretch.
Yeah. Well, that's where Spider-Man came from. Well, let me see. Flyman? Nah, people don't like flies.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man. And he made sure to hyphenate it. So that way it's not
Yeah.
Superman. You don't get it confused with Superman. You see, no, that's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They got the hyphen there.
Yeah. And I never liked the Spider-Verse theme until the movie came out. And the movie changed my respect for it. Because I understand Flash's multiverse. That makes sense to me. Spider-Man didn't make sense, but I love the story they told with the Spider-Verse movie. So, Spider-Man can't do no wrong. He can literally do everything. And that just proves it.
And they still got a third movie that's coming out for that one. I think it's either next year or the following.
Right. That animation
Probably,
is beautiful. It's very psychedelic. I mean, it's just trippy.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it, just for style.
Oh, my God,
I can't keep content about what it's about, but, man, does it look beautiful to me,
Yeah.
Oh, especially the last one with all the different versions of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And it's just...
all the effects, just the feel of it, and but then you can feel the story.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's the one thing that I'm trying to master as a writer is when I'm writing these stories, I want you to feel the character. I want you to feel like you know him. You know his pain. We know what Wolverine's going through. We can feel it.
Yeah.
We can feel the lostness, the feeling like you just don't know who you are. And the Wolverine story is simple as hell when you really think about it. If somebody was to pitch you Wolverine, they could pitch it in like 2 sentences. But the complexity is in the personality.
Sure.
And that's the mastering part. That's really the hardest part of creating characters is mastering their personality and translating it on comics.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Not everybody's just heroic and I'm here to save the day. Not everybody talks like that.
I urged people for a long time to read Chris Claremont's run of X-Men because that was some really great writing.
Which one are you talking about? Which run?
Well, the Phoenix Saga is great. That one is fantastic. But also look at the short of Days of Future Past. Read the source material over the movie. The movie was fantastic. Yeah. After I read the source material, and I was like, well, I mean, this is better, but it was a good try. It was good. It was good. It was better than what they said you did. I appreciated it.
His whole early, run on X-Men after Paul Smith, I believe. I forgot who followed Paul Smith. I think it was a few different, I think it may have been Paul Smith. No, it was before. Gosh, I can't remember. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah.
Wow. But either way, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I think, when I was younger, one of my favorite characters was Lando from Star Wars.
Okay.
I never there was no smoother black man in the universe than than Lando, right? He's the coolest, and so when I think about Acolyte, I think about my personality. I'm a very laid back guy, but I'm very competitive at the same time. So how do I translate that into my character since he's supposed to be an archetype of me? How to put that in there, how to put my insecurities in the character and let it play out in this ever-growing world. Because I know the ending of Acolyte. I know how it ends when it's all said and done. But my story mutates as I write. The ending will never change. But if I write something, if a page goes one way and a character says something, that may turn me to the right. Now I'm going to the right, where this could introduce a whole new species of aliens because I'm on this sector of space, whatever.
Right.
I'm eventually going to get back to my line where I'm going, but that's what I love about my writing is that I don't write with like a complete ceiling of this has to happen.
Right.
I write as whatever I'm writing as the page comes. And now it's even a little more fluent because the way me and my artists have worked, since we worked so long together, he kind of knows the world. So I just write a layout of page by page what's supposed to happen, and I just let them have creative freedom to draw it.
Wow, that's
So
nice.
I don't write.
That's
So I
nice.
don't write the dialogue until I see the art.
Oh, that's
So
great.
now,
Okay.
so I just look at the art and I say, man, the tone of that face right there looks like they would say this and they that. So when you read my books now, understand I'm writing it just by looking at it.
Oh,
You know?
that's a great.
Well, that's what
that's
Ditko and
different.
Stan Lee did. I mean,
Oh, yeah?
Ditko would just draw shit.
Yeah.
Just draw it, and then Stan. I can make a story out of this, and just looking at it and what he did. That was
Man,
their.
I gotta study that, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Ditko just used to some of the old Stan Lee interviews. That's what Ditko.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he said he did.
Yeah.
He just would draw out. Paige, this looks so great. I can do that.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
Yeah, I wanted the artist to have creative freedom, man. I didn't want, because I've worked with artists that some artists prefer you to be very detailed with the panel by panel,
Right.
and that's fine too. But you can see sometimes it hinders their ability to
Be creative.
add stuff.
Right.
So now it comes to the point where sometimes my artist will hit me up and say, "Hey, I was thinking about a villain for something," and I say, "Hey, pitch it to me, man. Let me know what you're thinking." And then we just go from there. So now it's more like a co-writing situation, which it makes me happy because when your artist is excited about the story, they bring out a lot more into it,
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I mean, when having a good relationship between your artist and writer is paramount. That's, one of the things that Frank kind of drilled in my head when we were first, I got to write a side story for his comic, Caribe the Hunted, called Chronicles of the Hunted. And I got to write the side story. And he just had to tell me, you got to make sure it makes sense because you don't want me calling you at 3 a.m. saying, hey, what did you mean by this? So having that good relationship to where, okay, I know what he's now I know, especially I know Frank a lot better since I first met him now. So it's easier to get that. But even now, because that was the real first kind of formal script I wrote was for Frank. And then after that, being able to, okay, I can write something and I have to make it so everyone else, not just me, it can't just come out like a brain fart on the page. Like you got to go through and comb through that and refine it a bit.
Yeah, and having those conversations too with your artists, because I provide references and all kind of things, and we talk about it, and I want them to feel comfortable enough to tell me, hey, I don't think that's going to look too good, but what if we did this, or what if we did that? Because you got to trust them,
right.
And he trusts my writing so I got to trust his vision. He's the artist. I don't know that world,
Right.
and then once the colorist gets it, he'll add things too. So it's like a perfect mesh of
Well, that's what it is.
everybody doing their part.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. That's what it has to be. A writer coming out with some cool stories, a penciler, inker, really working together, bringing out some atmosphere and some tones and some dynamics, and a colorist giving that feel, of whatever the emotion is, So I mean that's that you got a perfect gig there.
Yeah, because our editor in chief Montrez, she's the editor in chief of the company, but she's also my personal editor, and I so before when I write my script or just the concept, I don't even let the artist see it until she approves of it. She looks at it. She tells me, I ask her, does this make sense? Is this cool? What do you think about this? Like, do you think this is what the fans are you as a fan of the book, are you excited for what's happening? And she got to say a couple things before I go forward. And once she says, this is the one, Derek, then I'm like, okay. Then I hit up the artist. then we go from there. So I'm really strict on my stages because I want everybody on the same page,
But once that's where we see a lot of problems happen, even to compare it to Hollywood again. That's what problems happen in Hollywood when they rush that first crucial initial point, which is the script. That's where James Gunn had to come out and make a statement and say, hey, we're not making any movies unless I have a finished script. He had to make an announcement for that. Like, guys, you got to finish your homework if you want to make a movie.
That makes sense because,
they get paid a lot of money.
And the most important person on your team is usually whoever your editor is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your editor really sets the tone for what's to go on. She's supposed to that person's supposed to be there to help you translate what you want to create perfectly to the world.
Yeah.
So they're the most important person. They make sure that you don't sound stupid when you're out there talking about your character, you know?
Right.
And getting your story. And a real editor, a true good editor is not there to implement their ideas of what they think should go in there. They're there to mold your ideas and say, yo, this is the best way for you to express what you're trying to say right here.
Yeah.
You know?
That's good.
And that's where a lot of people get confused at what a good editor is.
Yeah.
An editor should never be telling you to take something out. That don't make sense. This character isn't going to work. No. Talk to me. Talk to me about it. Tell me what, because I'm the one with the vision here. You're just being put in it to see my vision, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I know full well how just beneficial having a really, really good editor is. My silly little podcast co-host started as a guest on here at Tales of the Hunted, and we have silly little podcast together. He was my editor for a movie script that I made, and he didn't change anything that I wrote. It was, all right, help me make sense of this line right here. How do we need to improve this here? But when people read the script, they're like, this is the best script I have ever read. And it's because I had a really good editor. And if I wouldn't have gotten those compliments, if I didn't have a solid editor backing me up like that. So it's much like you say, especially I see a lot of indie comics to where, did you have somebody read through this? Did you have somebody like tie up your story? But having a good editor really just accentuates your core idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, man. Having that editor is beneficial as it can be.
And just at least having those fresh eyes.
Sorry about that, guys. I just gotta transport my location. I hear him. But no, guys, that is definitely having a proper editor is so glorious, and it just makes you feel good. It makes you feel good when you're writing that you know you got somebody that got your back,
Right?
fully. You know.
Correct.
Yeah, they're in on your idea, and they're going to, comb through it and make sure that you're getting your best idea out there, and you're not leaving anything else on the table.
Yeah, because being alone writing a comic book, it's hard to do. And that's one thing I stress to everybody that's getting into the business is that, don't think you're gonna come in here and do it all by yourself. It's just impossible.
Mm-hmm.
You need other people to help you mold your vision.
Right.
Now, you don't need 20 people. It could just be one other person.
Right.
But you got to learn to trust people and trust them with your ideas and sort out, look for the right people to be around you too. Don't just accept everybody's invitation.
Yes. That's the most important one, is accepting the right help, because the right person, they want to just improve your idea. They don't want like a lot in on it. Like most of the people in the indie industry that I've met, they offer me help, but they already have like 7 other different buns in the oven that they're working on, and they're just doing me a solid, helping me on something. That's what I more or less see more often, is people helping other people out. Hey, man, can you do a page for me on this? Absolutely.
Right.
People helping out in between and building each other up is just kind of in the core of indie comics.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the thing. You'd be surprised how many. Well, I'm sure that you guys see it when you get submissions to the Heroic Awards. There's a lot of people that don't have editors, or that are just doing everything themselves. Like you'll see their name in like 4 spots. Let's see, like they're the writer, they're the editor, they did the lettering maybe. In some cases it works. Some cases it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, you're saving money.
I mean,
That's
just from
fine.
history, I can tell you they're few and far between that do work, but there are some examples to where, yeah, you can run the whole show, but that's why there's an executive and a bunch of underlings. You don't just walk into, Boscos and the president sitting there at the cash register.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's that's not gonna happen. That's definitely not gonna happen. And there's so many sides to being a comic creator. A lot of people only focus on the creation part, the fun part.
Yeah.
But you got to market, you got to promote, you got to brand yourself, you got to do a lot of other things. And to take it back to some of the top superheroes that we've know, Spider-Man's, Batman's, Superman's, the branding is what really makes them as big as they are. The brand of Spider-Man, the way he holds his hand when he shoots his web, that's part of the brand. The symbol, the way he crouches and lands, and same with Batman. Gotham City is the brand. He wouldn't be the same. He wouldn't be the same hero if he didn't live in that city. If he was just somewhere else, it wouldn't be as dope.
If it wasn't like Sheboygan, it would not be Batman.
Exactly.
You had to have that kind of Gotham, that real dark, gritty feel of Gotham, which you can see. It's very seldom places in Philadelphia. You're like, am I in Gotham? No, it's Philly. Okay.
There's just a couple spots to look like that. But even with Daredevil, like Hell's Kitchen, he wouldn't be the same guy if he lived in like the Bronx. It wouldn't have the same feel.
Right.
And if you know Hell's Kitchen and you've been there before, you can see how it's a corporate world that's very connected to the neighborhood. Yeah. And it's a perfect blend, I mean, it's a perfect blend. So that branding.
Back to that series, though, man, the Netflix series, and even just Daredevil in general. I don't think anybody kind of predicted he would be as popular as he is.
Well, everyone loved Daredevil, and he had a fan base already. But what they did with it, really, really looked fantastic, and I can't wait for this part 2 of this thing.
Showing how gritty it was really what helped that out. Showing the realism of it, making it more realistic, more believable. Like every episode, we felt like he was gonna die. Every episode.
Yeah.
Well, even you look at the Punisher and that series.
Yeah.
Frank Castle, John Bernthal is one of the best Punishers ever.
Yeah, no, he was born to play that role.
Yeah, that's him. He just the whole area of where he was, New York City. I mean, Hell's Kitchen. Well, I'd say before the '90s was that Hell's Kitchen of New York, of Daredevil.
Yeah,
and also Punisher. Now it's not.
Yeah.
Now it's not, But overall, you'd understand it, and what they did with it, they showed it. It looked believable. I mean, I enjoyed it. The second part where you saw him jump off and like swing, that's the first time I really saw him swing.
Yeah, that was the only time I think they've ever had him swing was off of the Born Again season 1.
Wow, I mean, that's what he's famous for.
I love the Born Again season 2. I love Kingpin obviously isn't as threatening as we know him in the comic books, because CGI and the Kingpin wouldn't be as cool because he's a real person.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they had to make him somewhat realistic, and I'm not mad at that. I'm not a part of the complainer group that wants everything to be exactly how the comic book is. You can't unless you get like Brock Lesnar to just do the body and let somebody else voice it, kind of like how they did with us with Sweet Tooth in the Twisted Metal show.
Yeah.
They allowed a wrestler to be the body, but somebody else voiced them. Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, if that's what you got to do for the character, it works. You could really give give it up to the fans to decide on that.
Yeah, but I love the way they're portraying New York in the Daredevil Born Again series. Is perfect because it makes you think about like, damn, what is Spider-Man gonna do about this? And Punisher, and Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, are they affected by this? And it just leaves so much open for us to interpret and think about because he's not gonna be able to do this by himself.
I mean,
no way.
especially when they're going towards Doomsday, knowing that we'll see the Defenders lining up there on top of the list that they already announced.
I want to see Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Imagine they bring on Valkyrie and the Defenders. She's been in there in the comic as one of the characters for the longest time, but
there's little nods that you could do with that.
You could, flying away, but I do like it.
I actually love how everybody before the Disney Plus came out, everybody was saying how Disney's gonna PG-13 everything, but we got Kingpin ripping somebody's face in half.
Yeah, that was pretty vicious.
Disney Plus.
That was pretty vicious. I was like, that's not watered down, guys. That's not neutered at all.
Daredevil is not watered down at all. It's I would say it's almost the same level as the Netflix series, and that's fine. Right. It's cool.
Yeah.
And but not everything. I think a lot of people got a little drunk with the overt violence from shows like The Boys.
Yeah.
Not every superhero book has to be like that, or not every show has to be extremely violent because it's a superhero thing.
Yeah.
Let the boys be the boys. Let the MCU be the MCU. Let DC be DC.
Yeah.
That's why we love The Boys, because it's different.
It was refreshing when it came out, but then it kind of got stale as it went on for me. Like after the Stormfront storyline into the Hero-gasm, I was like, all right, so you guys are going to pretty much do more of the same. Not really hitting the comic because you want to do something new, but touching on the points that you want.
It's a lot of shock value points that they're looking for.
Yeah, well, they did the same thing with The Walking Dead. There's certain things
that they do that's just for shock value.
Yes.
Although Walking Dead was a little bit different because they kind of did the Full Metal Alchemist of like, oh my God, we caught up to you? Well, we're going to make up our own shit over here, okay? All right, you guys make up your own shit over there. And then
I think The Walking Dead is such a study piece, man. I think when they killed Glenn, I think that was just too brutal for primetime television.
Yeah.
It was like it affected too many people's spirit. That was like, I've been watching Glenn for years. Like, damn.
Yeah, you're going to show that?
You had to do him like that?
Like, hey, you guys are going to show that? All right.
It was perfect because everyone loved Glenn.
They did.
There was nothing bad about it.
That's exactly, that's perfect writing there.
He wasn't an a-hole. It wasn't anything.
Especially
when you're a nice guy.
When you're trying to do zombie horror, that's perfect writing because I'm going to make you fall in love with this character, and then, oh, you love him? Good, he's dead.
He's dead.
Right in front of you.
Right.
You crying? Good. I killed his mother.
Right.
That's definitely perfect for what The Walking Dead did, and for the people, because a lot of people didn't read the comic books, so a lot of people didn't know.
Yeah.
They didn't know what was going to happen. A lot of people were just watching it just as a show.
Yeah.
So
the way such a connection to get the book.
Seeing people get killed is normal in Walking Dead, but I think seeing somebody killed that way, and the person had a smile on their face, is so like unhuman.
Yeah.
From a human to do it, I think a lot of people had to reset themselves and like go on a little break from the show.
Even Robert Kirkman had to have a little minute to himself because he said how it was different writing a comic book compared to writing a live series show. These are people who you're hanging out with every day on set.
Yeah.
And then this is not a regular, it's not one of those things that you can just kind of like, oh, yeah, he played Superman. We killed him off. We just replaced him, with another guy nobody's going to notice.
Well, I feel there's a lot of emotion.
Emotionally attaching.
Yeah, you can't glance over things like you can in a comic book.
Like when a character dies or the actor is, you know, hey, I'm going to prison. Oh, well, we have to kill you off. Oh, okay. You know,
Yeah.
whatever may pop up, that's different than the comics. So guess what? We're steering this boat by ourselves.
He's steering this boat by ourselves. Yeah,
But they added Daryl, which that role blew up Norman Reedus' career.
Yeah.
He's in a video game now. 2 video games. Domino's Stranding? No, I'm sorry. Death Stranding. Death Stranding. Similar premise, but the same game. You're delivering pizza around a post-apocalyptic world.
The first movie I saw him in, Norman Reedus, was he was in Blade 2.
Yes.
Yeah, he was good.
I don't remember him in anything else besides
Boondock Saints. I saw him in Boondock.
Oh, he was in Boondock Saints. Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy.
Yeah.
Is perfect for that role.
No, I think all these are study pieces, man. When I watch Walking Dead, I'm studying. And I watch Umbrella Academy, I'm studying. Like I watch it for entertainment, but I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
Everything I think that's good, I take notes. For sure.
Especially because they tried to do Doom Patrol. I hope not as an answer to Umbrella Academy, but they did Doom Patrol. But Umbrella Academy, they had another show that crapped out because Umbrella Academy was just better.
Umbrella Academy was, and you know what was good for me? I never heard of Umbrella Academy. I didn't know nothing about it. So no,
it was one of those. This is based off a comic. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and I'm a big time traveling. I'm a sci-fi guy, so once I saw how they were doing it, it was very interesting.
It was definitely one of those titles that somebody who had nothing to do with comics actually told me about it and be like, "Why? You'd love this." And be like, "Why did I not hear about this?"
I think they rushed their last season. Like the last season of Umbrella Academy, you could tell they all knew it was the last of the contract, so they just wrote it to hurry up and end it.
Yeah.
But the other seasons were really good, man. Really, really good. And I love how it reset every season was like a new season. You know what I'm saying? It was like a new show.
Fresh. You know, you were wondering what was going to go. All right, what's going to be like the one season, the one character started a cult.
Right. He was just started a cult. He was doing all kind of things. So that was a great show. And that's what I love about us getting content outside of the big 2. I love the big 2. But now we get to see the boys, we get to see Umbrella Academy, we get to see Kick-Ass and other things like that. I think it just adds value to the genre.
It definitely does, especially with cons and just the format of being able to do an idea on YouTube and just have it run out there.
Yeah.
Even older ideas. Apparently, I found this one older show they had all in a compilation, Stoner Cats. It was Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher, Jodie Foster. Yeah.
Really?
Fucking weird-ass voiceovers, but it's just about cats who got stoned. It's fantastic. Fantastic animated little skit. I know it just popped up on my YouTube. It was like an hour and some odd change of shorts. I sat through the whole thing.
Wow.
But if the product's good, no matter when, there's this timeless feel that some projects have, especially find that in indie. Because like we always say on this show, what we find in indie is that you're not seeing, well, this is just a recycled Captain America, or this is Superman with glasses all the time.
Yeah.
It's a new idea that the fans have taken their experience and their ideas and morphed it into this weird amalgamation that, well, it started off as like, I wanted somebody like Captain America, but I added like this from this character and this situation popped up from this show I liked. And it just kind of forms that way, like a messed up body part matrix.
Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of being an indie comic creator. You kind of get to, if you're really creative, you're creating a whole new thing.
Yeah.
And you're not, I don't really like parodies too much like that. I was a little bit hesitant of watching The Boys and Invincible because I knew it was directly from popular titles, like from Justice League or from the Avengers. It was just like an amalgamation of different characters in the boys that were just off the rails.
Yeah.
I I normally like extremely original content,
Mm-hmm.
but I watched it because it was entertaining and the stories were original. So
Yeah.
that's what made it better for me. But I hate when somebody just when they say, "Hey, I made my own version of this."
Yeah.
Like, this, I don't know. I think it's like a cheat code,
Mm-hmm.
because you're not really creating nothing new. You're just rearranging everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, and then that's no better than AI.
Yeah.
And they've ushered somebody out of Dragon Con for having a table selling AI art, and then they just didn't replace it. They just had a little plaque that said, "We removed this vendor because they were selling AI art." That was it.
That's good. That's just tough pill to swallow. Because I feel like as a creator, you're trying to save money.
Yeah.
Now was that person selling their own creative content, or were they just selling like pictures of fan art and stuff like that?
Well, that's what.
Well, AI, it's probably something you just,
Because none of them.
type into an AI,
Yeah.
app or whatever, and they spit out 5 different renditions of what you just said, and you pick the one you want. If not, you could just alter that.
Even still, a very popular one
It's
to get.
weird. It's a weird
like-
thing because it's creative. It's another weird thing because no one's really creating. It's a machine doing it.
Yeah.
But there's people doing books.
It
that are
gets
just on
really,
AI.
really close
It's
to
like, it's
Superman
everywhere.
off the jump. Like, even if you're just going
If you're
around
doing,
Super.
Yeah, if you're doing, Batman AI, and
Yeah.
I go, why,
Yeah.
why bother?
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird because it can look painted, and
Yeah.
it's somebody who actually has to learn how to paint. It's gonna take
Yeah.
a lot of time to get at that level that AI can just
Yeah. Put out.
spit out.
Yeah. Especially
Literally.
in painted style is all you have to type.
Yeah,
That's.
oil paint,
Yeah.
Italian Renaissance of Wonder Woman, Greek Parthenon in the background.
Yeah.
Man, count to 10. Count to 10, it'll be done.
Yeah.
Depending
Yeah.
on the day. Depending on the day. If the server's not busy, in the farm,
Okay,
then.
count to 12.
You may have to wait the extra 2 seconds,
Yeah, I know.
but that's how easy it is. But that's why it's so much more important to get into the actual creatives doing it, the people writing the scripts. I actually dabbled into, all right, could AI that is out there and free now, could it make a script?
Yeah.
It can. I asked it to make a script about Reagan and the mole men from Mars, and I'm not gonna lie, I would watch that movie. It spit out a really good movie, some really good taggy one-liners.
It's very dangerous, man. I feel like there's only a few instances where using like AI art is okay. I feel like that's when you're looking for like concept ideas, when you're just trying to design a character or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I design my characters on a game called DC Universe. Sometimes I just go
Okay.
in there and play with a build.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I like that. But then I'll take a picture of it and I'll show the artist and say, yo, I need you to draw something like this,
To that
but
effect,
let's
yeah.
change a lot to it.
There's actually a
At the
new
same-
one that I found it's coming out on my Mad Plays because the demo is on Steam now, but it's Superhero Simulator.
Oh, really?
Really?
You're a superhero, you create the superhero, there's, save people, different kind of, like the classic pop-up missions. There's also missions where you have a day job. You can drive a taxi, work at a burger joint, and they're working on a simulator game. So they're going to keep adding to it like Steam games do, but it's a superhero simulator. That's where they've breached onto. And it's in the comic book art style, too.
That's dope.
Kind of
That
like,
is
what was
pretty
it,
dope.
City of Heroes back in the day? With
Mhm.
that real cel-shaded art.
Yep.
I played the demo. It's going to come out on my map plays. It works. I was enthralled. They had funny little, animations for, the shower and the bathroom. You're getting your hero ready for the day. You're going to the closet. That's where your customization is. And then
Really?
plain clothes and your actual hero outfit. That's the leveling part of it, to where that's where you're going to get all your stuff. And I'm like, this is actually really entertaining.
Yeah, that sounds like something I'm definitely gonna have to try out. I'm definitely gonna have to try it out because I make, I play. I've had some supporters. They've invited me to come play the game with them. Right? I don't know if you know, on Tekken or not, on Soul Calibur, you can create your own character. So
Okay.
some dude hit me up. He said, "Hey, I created Acolyte, and I want to beat you with him." I said, "What?" So I got on Soul Calibur. I had to smack my character up, man. I ain't like that too much. But and then like sometimes we'll be on DC Universe and there's a bunch of us. Like me, I created Acolyte on there. My other friend, he created his Absolver on there. So we got our characters on there and we posted it on our Discord channel. And some of the supporters was like, "Hey, we play too. And we created some concrete characters. We want to join you guys." So now we're just running through the DC Universe world as concrete comic characters fighting against Brainiac or
Oh, that's
somebody else.
fantastic.
It's just like a fun thing to do, to be able to create your own character
Yeah.
and then utilize them in the game,
Nice.
I have logged on to DC Universe Online a couple times for, making the Matman, and it's a really fun game. It's like I was telling you, those lifestyle games that you just, all right, it's almost like you're punching in for work. Like, all right, I'm clocking in, boss. Got a lot to do today, because I did for a while a Matt Plays series to where I went through the Old Republic MMO, and I played through that. I actually completed a side character off of that. I completed the Sith Assassin all the way through. Wow. Years it took me to actually play, because when you go onto a planet, it's not just like you go to like play a Star Wars Fallen Order game, right? And you're like, oh, look at this. It's like a planet. That's cute. There's that times 10, and it's a bunch of stuff to do. So you can't be a completionist. If you are, you're going to play that game your entire life.
Yeah. And that's kind of how DC Universe is. Like I didn't really get my appreciation for it until I played with people that knew the science of the game. When they told you how to build your build. If you were a healer or a tank or whatever, they really show you how to build it. So when you're in those battles, you feel like you're actually doing something. Because otherwise, you just feel like you're just pushing buttons. But when you really know you're helping the team win, it feels a lot better.
That was one of those games I actually spent money on. It was like, hey, you can unlock Green Lantern with this level. I was like, all right, you're getting my money for this, but I am cross with you nonetheless. I had to purchase it.
Yeah.
Should have been in there, but you know what? I got it. And I'm like,
definitely should have been in there.
I could re-download that.
I think a dream concept game of mine would be like a Mandalorian game that played like No Man's Sky.
Oh, yeah.
Like to be able to, like, I love No Man's Sky, the way you can travel, and go anywhere. Imagine that in the Mandalorian world, I think that would be so fire to me.
That would be great. A Mandalorian game. Me and my brother have been talking about that for a long time, that there needs to be a Mandalorian game. You get your armor crafted. The tutorial could be taken your back.
And have it play almost like Grand Theft Auto, because where it's a server. So like, what I mean, you may be on another planet and I come link up with you and help you out on a mission, and then I go off on my own because I got to go collect the bounty. Like, I think that would be so dope. Yeah. And then maybe have different factions that people can play. Maybe they're not just Mandalorians. Maybe some people they're like generals for starships or the Star Troopers, Stormtroopers or whatever.
Who are the spice, the infamous spice runners? Not the Hutt cartel. There's another one I'm blanking on.
That's what I'm saying. How dope! Like, if they just set this game in one solar system that had maybe 10 planets, and there was Jabba the Hutt type people, there was Mandalorians, Jedi, there was Republics, all of it, and you could choose who you wanted to be, and you just be out there in the world, and you're all your actions actually hold some weight. If you do something to somebody, a bounty could be put on you. Now you got people,
And
stuff like that.
these games like DC Universe and even Old Republic and all them, they keep you coming back like that for a reason. The good storytelling, the good, and just like you'll find in indie comics.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, just like you find in indie comics, and that's, a lot of people have had the vision of creating a universe, a connected universe for all indie comics, and it's always fell through for some, God knows what reasons. But it would be cool. It would be cool. I always write my characters in my universe as an open invitation to where in our multiverse anything's possible. So I could bring Acolyte to your guys' world, and it could make sense for somebody else's world. And I think that's how we, as indies, can keep ourselves able to collaborate in a very easy way.
I think that's the next crossover. That's the next, that's the next thing that could really highlight indie, is having epic crossovers between different indie superheroes, because that
Or just
is
different publishers.
Just different publishers, different artists,
something to work together.
just different characters coming together, and that's going to be one highlighting each other, but also giving the fans what they want. Of all right, which one of my indie characters could would win in a match?
Even crossovers. Let's say. You see the Hulk on a Daredevil, book or whatever. Imagine seeing, any other character on somebody else's book. So that person's got fans that he never knew. And all of a sudden you go back and he's on the other one's book, and that's fans that they never knew. So you've actually expanded, it just takes the type of people that are, honestly can do it or want to do it.
It gets me interested as a writer, because that gives me plenty of time of like, all right, well, what else is popping in this multiversal event? Who's causing it? What collection of bad guys is making this happen? Start sowing the seeds, getting the characters and getting the set, the play set, and seeing where it goes. Because that's an interesting premise of just getting two different indie comic storylines and having them have a crossover event, just like
having
Marvel
it make
DC.
sense.
It's not even Marvel and DC have crossovers.
Have done
many crossovers,
quite a few times. Some of them have been really good. Some of them have been stinkers.
And see how I look at it too when it comes to those crossovers. On the creative side, anything's possible. On the business side, I think for it to make sense for all parties, the titles have to be evenly yoked. As far as, you don't want to do a crossover with, say you're in a crossover with somebody, and this character has 8 books. This character doesn't have a book out yet.
Yeah.
Right. So now that character's carrying most of the weight because he has more of a crowd, fan base, boom, boom. Right. This character's just in it. But if you have 2 characters that say one has 5 issues, one has 3, at least when the fans get done reading it, they got something to go and read elsewise. And I think that's where sometimes these crossovers in indie space get a bad rap at, is because they're creating characters just for this crossover, but then after they're done reading that, it's nothing.
Right. Yeah. It's just gone. It's a nothing
fall back
burger.
on.
Yeah. Nothing. It's a nothing burger. Yeah. Absolutely. So, this is business. This is a business. Contracts are real. Ideas a lot of things. A lot of the ideas, I think, is a bit of ego. It's as long as you have just you can be a businessman. I mean, that's what it is. It's not really personal. It's be a businessman. Set aside a little bit of ego. And see. Let's have some fun. See what can happen.
Yeah, because that's the reality. That's where everything hits the fan, is when people start talking the business side of it. Because realistically, realistically, if you're doing a crossover, if Marvel, DC, and Image all did a crossover, you know off the back, Spawn, either Superman or Batman, and then either Spider-Man or somebody else are going to be the main attraction to that event.
Yeah.
Every other character under there is a supporting cast member.
Absolutely.
And in the indie space, that happens as well. But some people can't stomach the supporting character.
Well, that's where the set
that,
aside
you know
your
what I mean?
ego, comes into play.
Yeah.
This is business.
Exactly.
Okay. You have one person has their book, another person has their book.
Mm-hmm.
If you can just go, hey, my book sells X, but because of this crossover, it's now sold triple that.
Yeah.
But the other person who's been around maybe a slightly bit longer, maybe an interesting character, has sold 10 times the amount. There's, not really a lot to shift over the money. You made your money from your book. Your book has now more fans than you've ever had.
Yeah.
Keep it going, but
Yeah.
that's where the business contract
Yeah.
is,
Because all business collaborations, at some point there's a hand washing the other hand moment
Sure.
in there.
Yeah.
It's rare that it's just one company that's over the other one by a drastic margin, and when that usually happens, the company over top usually has all the power, and that's where things get weird.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally where all the weirdness lies. If you look at music, you look at
Right at the
any
top.
kind of
Look at the
kind of
top.
writing or producing in Hollywood, that's where the weirdness lies, right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just
status.
described it all in one
Status.
sentence.
Yep, status is where it gets weird, right there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's status, and it takes level-headed and people with the same mission to really come together to complete that objective. And not everybody can do it, but that's the thing people got to realize too. Not everybody is collab worthy. Some people you just connect with
You'd
the
have to
right
talk.
people
You
and
have to
y'all
talk
can
to
create
them.
a banger.
Yeah. You
You
have
know?
to talk. You have to know the person.
You get to know, like, are you on the same kind of frequency?
Exactly.
All right, so you're on my frequency. Because when you get into a good, like, brainstorm session with another writer, it's like you're creating magic out of the ether. Like you're a couple
Exactly.
witches around a cauldron. You're just brewing out. I remember Mike and I heard about the radioactive shrimp from Walmart. We instantly had a superhero idea go. Like, boom, we had a pitch running. And we
There
were
it
talking
is.
about like a whale, Galactus. I was like, oh my God, his herald could be a dolphin. We had like a whole superhero, like oceanic universe.
I think that right there is dope. I was driving yesterday and it was like raining. I get my ideas very randomly, but it was raining really hard and I could barely see. And I said, man, well, it'll be dope because I'm always trying to find villains for Acolyte that I can't fathom how he would beat them, right? So I was looking at the rain. I was like, damn, wouldn't it be dope if there was like some alien race or something that when they come, they create like this rain you can't even see through because that's what they need to walk through. They need that rain. So imagine fighting an enemy you can't see because you're just surrounded by this blinding rain, but it's in there,
Right.
you know? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna create that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna create something like that.
It's very sci-fi, very like almost Whovian. That speaks to me like, oh, there's an alien that walks in between the raindrops. Like, you son of a bitch. They already made me scared of the Wi-Fi.
You can't see it. You got to figure out. Yeah, and now what's intriguing for me as a writer, I'm trying to figure out, well, how do I beat this thing?
Yeah.
You know, how do I beat it?
You can make the villain. Oh yeah, that's a great villain. Like, all right, now how the hell do I beat them?
How do I beat it?
Yeah.
And that's where the fun lies in. I mean, a lot of people create characters that are like they don't lose. I'm trying to whoop Acolyte's ass every time I write him.
Yeah.
Every time I write him, I'm trying to whoop his ass. You know what I mean? So
I mean, there's also that kind of flair that I see in anime, to where they will put their lead character to the brink of death as many times as possible as it needs for the story to go. And people are riding through it all the way, just like they're marching to see Glenn's death happily. They will follow right behind that character if you do it right.
The Death of Superman was the book that affected me the most out of my whole life. when I was, because I think when it came out, I was like 9 years old. So when I read that, that was like my first introduction to like, I read comics, but none of them had that drastic level of like an ending.
My first
And
comic that I picked up was Green Lantern 48, where he has all the rings and he's controlled by Parallax. That was the first comic that I picked up and purchased.
really,
Like,
yeah,
he's not acting like Green Lantern. He's not
yeah.
very heroic in this.
That's the same way I felt with Man of Steel. With the death of Superman,
Yeah.
I thought I didn't really read comics to that. I didn't really read them from beginning to end. That one I did,
Right.
and it messed me up, man, for a while. Like I don't think I read comics for years after that.
Really? Wow.
You remember, and this is the same time when the Superman died, people were wearing black bands.
Yeah.
The world mourned.
The
Literally.
world
Superman.
mourned when Superman got clipped, and the way he died, it was brutal. He was getting his ass whooped. In
Oh,
that shit, man.
savagely.
And,
Savagely.
and I never seen. I don't think before that moment, I don't think I ever seen blood come out of his mouth or anything like that. I don't think I ever seen him bleed. So that was just like
Right.
shocking.
Right.
I was like, yo, what's happening? Like, why is he hitting him so hard?
Right.
What is happening?
I always thought there was something wrong with Superman. Like, oh my God, his blood's black. It's Jesus.
Yeah.
What's going on with that? No, they just thought it would be better if it was black rather than be red.
Was it?
It's almost like
Was it?
well, it's almost like in Japan, instead of red blood, they'll change it white, which makes it absolutely worse.
Yeah, I hate the white. Like, I always hated in Aliens when the android would get killed and the white blood or whatever that would come out. Like it was so disgusting. It was so
We
disgusting.
think
It's,
that's
it's
too much for
different.
the audience.
You weren't used to it when was it Ian? What's his name? I forget what his last name is. But the character that played Bishop, when he started to bleed, and it's like, what's this? You had no idea he was.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
No idea.
it was clear when he knocked his head off.
Yeah.
That's it. And then all that, and then that was really, wow, that was impact. So
was
yeah,
shocking.
sure, absolutely.
It was shocking.
I mean,
It was shocking.
the knife game definitely put up a little red flag that he was at least special.
Yeah.
Like, damn, he's really coordinated.
Yeah.
Guys really trust
once-
this guy.
Once you saw the first Alien, you knew that was.
Well, yeah.
You knew that.
He played it so they
Wow.
they hid the android so well.
Mm-hmm.
Like we thought it was human.
Well,
And then
that's
it
what
just-
is, yeah.
And then we were all like, what the hell? What is going on? So yeah, and that's why I have Aliens is one of my tops for like Easter egging and just the way they do stuff. Like it's ingenious. Even I don't know if you know all the planets that they've been to, like the LV1 and LV such and such and blah blah blah. So in the lore, those planets are Bible verses, and when you read them, it explains the movie.
Oh, no shit.
Never connected that.
Shit. We did a run of all the Alien movies not too long ago this year and it was a lot more enjoyable than I remember from my first watching. Going back to an old movie like that is a timeless classic, especially the first Alien. Oh my God!
Even like a lot of people sleep on Prometheus, but the lore behind it is so dope to me because they took the lore of Christianity and just flipped it. Because in Prometheus, I don't know if you remember, but when they went to that planet and found the engineers or whatever, the engineers, they said in their log they had sent somebody to Earth 2,000 years ago to teach us how to live, and we killed them. So they were like, okay, well, we're gonna come back there and we're gonna wipe out the whole planet. But before they did that, those things broke out and killed them. So that's why they never came back. And the fact that the reason why the engineer killed the old man as soon as he seen him is because it's almost like the audacity of my creation to come to me and say, make me a god like you. Right. So he killed him. Right. And that's the same concept with us creating the android. Now the android thinks it's a god because we die and it doesn't. Right. And now it's just a whole, you know what I mean? So it's the story of Prometheus. Mm-hmm. And that Easter egg and that lore behind it that no one really knows unless you dive into it, to me, is brilliant.
Yeah. Well, that's also the goal of any really, any good writer, because I've always wanted to put a lot of different kind of Easter eggs like that, different threads that, hey, I'll come back and I'll explain that later, so that way when you look back at the story, like, oh, he started talking about that right there. And then, oh, you didn't see that yet? Yeah, no, you should know that. Look back at this page. That's the kind of the joy that you can always get. Especially, I really got a joy of, because it was The Walking Dead was the one that I started reading comics, and my buddy's like, "Yo, you like that? Start reading Walking Dead." I started reading Walking Dead, and I fell in love with it. Right. So then I was almost like the prophet for my friends, as they were like, all right, what's going to happen this week? And I was like, guys, I don't know what's going to happen, but I can tell you this guy's probably going to bite it soon. And then you're either right or wrong. Yeah. And then when you were right, you just sat there like you little nerdy Jesus, like, yes, I knew what was going to happen. Especially with the death of Glenn, that was the ultimate nerdy Jesus moment. I just sat back and relaxed. I'm like, nah, guys, watch the episode. Right. I don't know what's going to happen. Like Let's a mom on Christmas morning. Oh, I don't know what's in the presents.
I will say those are the cool things, that when you find the people that are Easter egg hunters, like when you find those communities for people that are Matrix fans, because I'm deep in the Matrix lore too, or I'm deep in like the Terminator, Predator lore. I'm deep in all those lores, and it's just when you talk to people that are just as excited as you to find the truth, it just makes it even more enjoyable.
So. Where can our fans find you? What is the next cons that you have filling out here? Or you have any to cap off the year?
So this is I guess this first place I'm announcing it at, but we finally got into New York Comic Con, so we're gonna be closing out there.
Nice. New York Comic Con.
That's a
closing
nice
out at New York Comic Con for the year.
Yeah.
Well, technically our last con is Baltimore Comic Con. Okay. But New York is the big, the big one.
Last big one for the year. Nice. I mean, New York Comic Con is always that place that people want to get into and say, at least I've been there to New York Comic Con. I've had my spot there. Right. I mean, I'm interested, even getting that point with the candy treat company to get up to the New York Comic Con.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen for you guys. I feel like it was a lot of politics in us getting in there. I will say that we had to shake the right hands, meet the right people. But what I guess the nerve-wracking part of it is that the sheer amount of people trying to plan out your inventory.
Oh my God.
And trying to make sure your inventory covers the cost it's going to cost you to be there.
Yeah.
That's the science right there, figuring that part out.
Yeah, this can't be your first con and you just stumble into it. You got to be prepared for that con.
Yeah. Because it's a 4-day con, and I've shared a table for one day at New York Comic Con a couple years ago, and that just blew my mind. The sheer amount of people it was.
Yeah,
and I said,
New York City is huge and a big.
Yeah, it's crazy. So now that we're gonna be doing it for 4 days, and you thinking about, you just think about trying to, cross the profit line to where you're getting profit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It may take a lot.
I mean, especially going to New York, that's a high bill.
Just traveling there, just bringing. It's so many variables to New York Comic Con.
You're not even allowed to think about it because it just got too expensive. Right. It's that expensive. Just even thinking about it is too expensive.
Because it's in parking, is just everything about it is horrible. But the convention is great. But the everything around it that you got to do.
The absolute everything.
It's exhausting.
It's better that somebody that just come in, drive you in, drop you off, and come pick you up. Because parking is going to be horrendous.
Yeah.
Driving around, if you actually want to get your car during the time, is going to be horrendous.
If you want to see the new side of anybody in your life, drive in New York City.
Exactly.
That person driving you around in New York City, be like, I never saw this side of you. Be like, no way.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like leaving the convention every day is going to be expensive because we're probably going to stay in the Jersey side because it's cheaper.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to have to go through the toll
Yeah.
every day twice. So that in itself is like $100. You know.
Oh my
So
God.
so it's just
That really stepped
it's
up
just a
from.
lot.
I used to go to UTI, Universal Training Institute, and there was a lot of people that would live in New York City and commute to UTI, and they're like, "Oh, I'll just go across the bridge every time," and they would go home on the weekends. Some people would go home and back multiple times a week, but they would pay that toll every time. And it's up to $100 now. I remember hearing them complain about the toll back then.
Your best just to
The toll.
just take the
The
bus.
toll is
Take the
horrible.
bus across from,
The toll is
Jersey.
horrible, man.
Yeah, just take the bus. Leave everything there. Leave where your hotel is, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's too.
But even that is another thing, right? Because we got a lot of stuff, but
Yeah.
you don't have that much room at your table to have everything there. So
Yeah.
some things, it's just trying to plan it is that's the stressful part. Getting there and selling the books and stuff, that's like breathing. You have to do it.
right.
But the prep time, mm-mm-mm. So our whole thought process this last couple of weeks has just been, how are we doing this? How are we getting this? How are we doing that? How are we doing this? How are we doing that? And just going over it. And every time we go over the process, we find a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Every time. You know what I mean? We found parking, but the only place we can park at is like 5 blocks away.
That makes
So-
sense. That's New York. Like,
Like
oh,
5
damn,
blocks
park
away.
all the way over there.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah,
Yep.
but that's the city blocks.
And then riding, leaving the con after it's done like every day is probably going to be horrible. Like we're probably just going to have to wait like an hour before we leave so that the crowd somewhat dies down.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to have to do. I have no clue.
Parks. You know what? Leave the con.
Pray.
Leave the con and go 5 to 6 blocks someplace else. Any place else, and then have somebody pick you up there.
Yeah.
And in front of the con.
Because could possibly
there's
shut down the table a
that
little
was
bit early.
Yeah, I know. Shut everything down, roll everything up, whatever you can, and then literally, walk 5 blocks someplace else, and then have somebody pick you up there because there's no way. I did it in Baltimore once, and right in front, hailing a cab just to go back to the train station to go home. It was a madhouse.
Yeah.
A madhouse.
No, that's horrible, man.
Yeah.
When we do Baltimore Comic Con, I usually stay at the hotel that's connected to the convention center. So I just walk on it. I just walk right across that little sky bridge because I hate the traveling part of the cons. Like I rather, if it's a hotel next to it, I'd rather just be there.
I'm still traveling locally to the cons that pop up now, but I don't like travel because I am horrible with directions, even with Waze. It's the direction thing. Like, okay, that was my turn. All right. Okay, so now we know.
Yeah. The only benefit is that when you're going to the con as a vendor, you are there earlier. For New York, we're probably gonna have to be there 2 hours before opening just to have somewhat of a breathing space. But that may even be cutting it too close.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That may be cutting it too close. I don't think we're ever going to do San Diego because it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. None of us live on the West Coast. So
Oh, my God. Yeah, going all the way over there.
I can't even fathom what we have to do to get stuff there.
Like, I think the furthest commute we've heard of was from friend of the show, Aleem Leggett, him going all the way down to Texas. Yeah. And he's a local boy like us. So he went all the way down to Texas for a con. And I'm like, that is way too far.
Yeah, that's one. So we do DreamCon is in Houston every year. So we do that every July.
Oh, my
and
God.
it's
Wow.
That's where he went.
Yeah. And it is.
Yeah.
Something like that.
No, he went to. Oh, no. Yeah, he did go to DreamCon.
Something like that. Yeah.
It was something like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, DreamCon this year it was right at the beginning of June, but usually it's in July, and it's a great con, but we all had to travel like I had 2 suitcases that were like 100 pounds each, and then my other guy from Chicago, he had his, and then my other guy, he was from Atlanta, so we were just traveling from 3 different points with so many books, and it was just a lot. Luckily, we came back with nothing, so that was good. That was good.
Well, that's the gamble,
I guess it
but
makes it worth it. Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
I mean, that's coming with a lot and going out with nothing is
Yeah.
a good day.
That's a real good.
That
100
is
pounds
the
worth of
blessing. Because imagine going there and coming back with all that stuff. That's horrible.
Oh my
That's really
God.
bad.
Oh, that'd be the worst feeling ever. But
Yeah.
definitely want him to go out and see it at the cons, Baltimore, and even New York City Comic Con. And
Yes, sir.
we'll definitely have to have you back on the podcast anytime you got something else you want to talk about, my man. But it was great talking to Derek and his
Very nice talking with you.
amazing indie comics over at Konkret Comics.
Yep.
Friend of the show now. We're going to have him back on anytime he has anything to promote. Amazing comics that are, once again, amazingly original, all for the fans. So we want you to go out and hunt Derek over at Konkret Comics. And we got to end it off the same way. We love you, we miss you, and we want to see you next time, fans. Until that next hunt, game on.